think it's time we pick back up on this piss poor attempt to recreate Dragons of Light by Larry Elmore. Now, I lost the footage, like I've said in the previous videos, and I could not recover the part where I painted the wings, so we're just going to pick it up from there. We're going to move away from the stonework for a bit and start working on the characters. So, enjoy. Okay, let me start by saying that this is a struggle for me because I'm not used to working on white. I usually do black background with white underpainting and then transparent colors. And I'm also struggling with the fact that these paints, while I've heard a lot of good about the Wicked detail colors, I have not experienced anything good about them. They are so difficult to spray. Now, on the article I read on illustration colors, with the whole backstory of Drew Blair and how they were done in collaboration, that says that the the Wicked detail colors were meant to be sprayed through spray guns and not airbrushes, as where Vince from Createx years ago put out the video claiming that they spray great through smaller nozzles, and I'm here to tell you that that's not the case. Now, other people might disagree with me, and they've had better success with it, and it's great for them, but yeah, for me, it's just not there. So the reason I went with the white is because I wanted to try erasing and scratching techniques that I've seen other people doing. But with this paint being so durable, it doesn't scratch and erase the way the Createx does. Now, this video was done with the Wickeds, but moving forward, I'll be using the illustration colors because I purchased those and I put the full set of Wickeds that I have away. So we'll see how it goes from here. But for this video, we're still stuck with this, what I consider to be substandard paint. Now, I'm using the Wicked flesh tone here, and I really don't like it. I mean, it looks a little white, but it's not. You can see it better in person. The camera doesn't pick the color up as well. But I'm still not a big fan of the color. And I think eventually I'm going to look into picking up the bloodline That's there's a lot of the Lifeline. The Lifeline has a lot of flesh tones. It has like three different like base groups of 3 for different tones. So I'm considering picking up a full set of those when the wife will let me. And here I'm trying to just build up the tones with what I have, and it gets like worse before it gets better. As you can see, erasing doesn't do much. I mean, and that's fresh. That just went on. Mask this off a bit. That's one of my homemade shields. You can see a video on that on my channel on how to do those. And of course, when you're using masking like this, your edges are always going to be a mess until you clean those off. The unmasking makes a big difference. So. You gotta go darker in places, lighter in places, until you go back and forth until you get that feel that you want. So, and don't be afraid to use other mediums, other tools. Not everything has to come out of the airbrush. You don't need to be a purist. I use brushes, I use Posca pens, I use colored pencils, regular pencils, whatever it takes to get what I'm trying to do done. So sometimes it starts to look messy, and and you know for a fact that you screwed it up beyond repair. But if you just keep going, you'll fight your way back to something you like. So that's as often as I look at what I'm working on and think, well, that's never going to work. But you have to make it work, because otherwise you lost all that time. So just do it. I've always loved the anatomy in these fantasy art pieces ever since my teenage years back in the 70s, and I'd look at work by Frank Frazetta and Boris Vallejo. It just that was my first desire to do art, is when I saw that stuff. And I still never really got anatomy down the way I'd like to. And now that I've had a couple of strokes and my hands are not steady, I'm where I'm at, and I just have to be satisfied with that for now, So, but yeah, those guys were so inspiring. And then, a little later, early 80s, I discovered these D&D artists like the man I'm honoring here with this piece, Larry Elmore, as well as like Clyde Caldwell and Keith Parkinson and a few others. It's the type of art I like. I'm not into the photorealism. It's cool, and there's a lot of guys on here on YouTube that are amazing, like Mark over at the Art Workshop. The man is like a Xerox machine with an airbrush. It's amazing to watch him. But I'm after that fantasy art that captivated me when I was a kid. A number of years ago, a friend of mine turned me onto a book series by an artist named Bern Hogarth, who was he was a big Tarzan artist in the comics, but he did a set of non-fiction books, the Dynamic series, which were like dynamic anatomy, dynamic light and shade, dynamic wrinkles and drapery, dynamic hands, dynamic figure drawing, and one on just drawing the human head, a whole book on just drawing a head. And amazing books. And I mean, life was happening in the fast lane, so I never really took the time to like, you know, apply myself to studying them like I should have. You know, you don't have the hindsight when you're younger. You know, I was partying. I mean, I thought I knew enough about art. I was working as a tattoo artist, you know, with some pretty good success. So pay attention to what you need to pay attention to in life, because the future's going to come for you if you're ready or not. So, considering getting that book series again, I had several of them. I'm considering getting it again from my granddaughter. She's a budding little artist, and she's 12, and she's pretty good. She draws a lot of anime figures, and yeah, so maybe I'll get those books for her. Yeah, so these detail colors were not cooperating, so I'd get a nice little thin spray out on the over the masking, and I'd start try to move out over the area I want to paint, and then stop, and yeah, it was really getting to be a pain. So I had to just build it up slowly and try to get some of them details in that I wanted. I'm using several different shades in these boots just to try to give it some kind of depth. Small details. You gotta try to figure out how to get them, because they weren't done with an airbrush originally. They were done with a paintbrush and oil paints. So it's a completely different animal to try to get that same painterly effect. Try to get these rawhide tassels. Colors. Get exactly what I want out of it. So what I'll end up doing is I'll get all the main elements of these characters in, like the female character still has some feathers up, like coming down both sides of her shoulders. So, and I'll get the basic elements in, then I'll move to the male character and do the same. Then I'll go back over the whole painting and try to zero. Well, I'll do the back, finish the background, the stonework, and the ground, and then I'll just zero in on all the little details and until I can call it finished. Roughing in her little shillelagh weapon, whatever you want to call it. Little conquered people. One of those things that have the little tiny details that I'll address at the end. Just gonna have the same exact details everywhere that the original painting has? No, absolutely not. Like I said, I'm not Larry Elmore. I don't think I would admire the man as much as I do if he was only as good as me. That's not impressive. Okay. Looks like I'm going to wrap it up here. And pick up from here next time around and see if we can get ready to move on to the male character. So, thanks for watching, and hope you join me next time. Like, share, and subscribe.